wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ya, alhamdulillah kita sudah bisa mulai acaranya. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian yang hadir lewat Google. Ya, alhamdulillah. Dan juga lewat YouTube. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Juga kita panjatkan puji syukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Salam salawat kepada Rasulullah bahwa kita bisa berkumpul hari ini dengan sehat dan walafiat. Alhamdulillah juga kita kedatangan tamu Bapak Rustu Aslandur dari Jerman, langsung interview ini di rumah saya. Gitu. Insya Allah hari ini kita akan mengangkat tema bagaimana kehidupan Muslim di Jerman, dan juga di sini hadir Kiai Ma'ruf Khozin yang sudah menyempatkan juga untuk hadir di UNUSA jauh-jauh, matur nuwun Pak Yai. Nanti kita insya Allah berdiskusi, ya. Jadi acara ini adalah salah satu rangkaian dari acara NU Global Connection, yaitu acara seri webinar yang mengangkat masalah-masalah tentang keislaman dan juga keprofesian dan tema-tema ilmiah dari dua belah pihak, dari Indonesia ke Jerman dan Jerman ke Indonesia. Hari ini kita insya Allah mengangkat tema tentang Islam di Jerman. Nanti formatnya interview, saya insya Allah akan jadi moderator untuk interview, dan nanti Pak Rustu ini akan menjawab dengan dalam bahasa Inggris. Ini juga hadir Mas Wahyu dari Heidelberg yang siap sedia untuk membantu jika ada kesulitan dalam bahasa. Kita mulai. Let's switch to English. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, we can be together today, and thank you, Rustu, for your time that you allocate your time for us to share about the life as Muslim in Germany. I will shortly introduce our brother here, Rustu. He's the president of German-speaking Muslim in Karlsruhe, so-called DMK, Deutsche Sprachige Muslimkreis Karlsruhe. And his background is actually originally from Turkey, his parents, and so on. But he has been living in Germany maybe more than 50 years. And he knows about the context of Muslim in Germany. And he founded the German-speaking community Karlsruhe in 1989, and has worked in many things, including da'wah and education and so on. So let's start with the interview. So I would, if you have questions, then you can ask later after the interview, and let's start again. Yes, I also have been living in Germany almost 15 years, and I see that Muslim is very the number of Muslim in Germany is not so huge. Could you maybe tell us the current fact and figures about the Muslim in Germany? How many people are there? How many percentage, and also their origin? Yeah.
So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before giving the answer of this question, I'd like to thank Brother Andrew and you that you are interested in the theme and topic of Muslims in Germany or German Islam. And I hope that we can learn from each other in this section of answer questions, and that Allah may make this time now useful for us, inshallah. The figures. first of all, we have maybe to look for Germany as a whole in the world, but especially in Europe. Europe is is from different countries, but the most important country in Europe is Germany. Not because I'm here in Germany. It is of course of economics, and the population is more than 80 million. This is the most biggest population in Europe, and of course it has great impact on Europe as whole, together with France. So in this constellation, we see that Muslims in Europe are in different countries, mostly in France. They are more in percentage as in compared to Germany. There's a big percentage, or relatively big percentage in Great Britain. But in Europe, the second largest group of Muslims are in Germany. But the number are not so much as maybe one can think. It is about 5 to 6 million Muslims. And of course, for Indonesia, that is nothing. That's a little village in Indonesia, 5 to 6 millions. But in Germany, of course, or in Europe, it is a small amount, but not too small. And it is about, of course, 5 to 6 or 7 percentage. We don't have really figures because in Germany there's no registration of Muslims.
I see.
You just estimate, and you just make studies, and after this immigration of a huge number of immigrants from Syria and Afghanistan into 2015, about 1 million, it grows about 6 million Muslims. These Muslims are in the mostly, or the half of these Muslims are from Turkish origin. They came from Turkey beginning from the 60s to work here as guest workers. We call them guest workers, but nowadays they are also called migrants. And the other part from Bosnia, also from Morocco, and from different Arabic countries, we find Muslims here in Germany.
Yeah, it seems that there are a lot of variety of origin of Muslim in Germany.
Yes, this is of course one strength of the Muslims, but also one it causes also some problems between them, because it is not the homogeneous. It is not. It is different. So we have to look how we can manage to be together, and maybe I can tell later what kind of problems we face.
Yes. And now, what about the people, German people, who accept Islam?
Yes.
How many are?
This is also very difficult to estimate. It depends from 10,000 to 100,000 because you don't have registration. But I think it is. I think it could be more than 50,000 German Muslims, and these German Muslims, you see, it is also very different from their background, why they accept Islam and how they integrated in the Muslim communities. It's very, very different.
And there is a lot of different Muslims here in Germany, and how they are organized actually. Is there some organizations, or only one organization, or there's different organization there?
Of course, because of the history of the Muslims, they come from different origin countries. So these people come together because of their ethnicity and their language. So they build up mosques or praying rooms in this background. So when they build up a praying room or a mosque, they the Turks come together, for example, and between the Turks you have different groups, or you see the Arabs. Between the Arabs you have different groups, or the Bosnians. They are not so much, but of course they have at least two groups, two main groups, and so on and the fourth. So they are very different groups. For mostly, I think about 95% are organized because of their ethnicity or language. Of course, we have also Shia. This is not so much, and they have their own organization also here.
And I think also Ahmadiyya.
Ahmadiyya, of course, this is a small group, but this is a growing group here.
Yeah, interesting that there are different also organizations. And now we are going to the topics about the life of German Muslim. I think from your name, we could guess that you are not from Germany. I mean, you have a Turkish background. Why you and many other brothers and sisters call yourself as a German Muslim instead of Muslim living in Germany?
Yes. So it is because we came here for, let me formulate this in this way. My parents came here to work. My father came first at the 60s, 65. He came, he stayed a while, worked, and he decided to take his family to bring it to Germany. We came with my mother and my sister. We came in 1996, 69, yes. So we came here as children. I came here as a child, not because I want to work, because of my family. So I went to kindergarten and school and so on and the fourth. I'm the second generation. And then we have to think about, as Muslims, if you are a conscious Muslim, you think about why you are here. Why you didn't decide to come here, because you were a child, you were very little. So because of this consciousness, why and why you are here, you have to give for your an answer. And the answer for me was, Allah put me here. He didn't ask me, and it is not what was my choice, but I'm here. What is my task? To stay here. And then we have to decide if we say we are here because we want to live Islam and spread the Islam here, or we decide, we say, okay, it's a fate. I stay here, it is good. I have economic good conditions and living conditions, that's all. And if we decide that we say we are here because of Islam, because Allah wants us to be here and have given us a task, you have to think about if you want to stay because of Islam here, and then you are a Muslim in Germany and you can go back, or you say, I'm here because I want to stay here of Islam and Dawah, and then you have to say, logically, you are a German Muslim. And because of German, to be German, it is not to be of German blood. You have change in the society. In the former times, normally the Germans think about that the German is only a person who has German blood. Of course, now we have also right-wing who think that this is so. But a big group of people think you can be German because you have a German nationality and you stay in Germany or you are born in Germany. And because of that, we as Muslims in the German speaking society here, Muslim society, we have decided to be German Muslims, of course with Turkish origins, of course with Albanian origins, of course of American origins. That we don't deny it, but we say we are here, we are rooted here, and now this my family has the fourth generation, so we stay very conscious here in Germany, and we say we are German Muslims.
Interesting, but it has also some challenges, yes, as German Muslims in Germany. So because the culture is quite different, maybe the values also, and also the interpretation of Islam, because of the variety of the origin of people here are different, then the interpretation is also different. What do you think is the characteristics of a good and proper interpretation of Islam in Germany that somehow suits the local values? And
so first of all, you have always challenges. I always tell the young people, do you like to have an easy life or to do the right thing? Yes, you have choice. If you say it is easy for me, you don't have challenges, you stay at home and you don't do activities or you don't plan or have visions. Okay, the challenges are here, but the thing is, are you able to go with the challenges to solve them? I think we can, but we have to have some prerequisites. So one of these are you have to make Islam homegrown here. If you bring some religion or something else from outside, for the Germans, it is a foreign religion. Why do they have to accept it? Because it is the religion of the Turks or the Arabs. But if you don't change the content, you can't change the Quran, you can't change the Prophet ﷺ is for us leader. But you interpret this content in a different way. You have cultural things in it. So this is a huge challenge because you have to have people who understand Islam, Quran, and Sirah very well. They have to know Arabic, for example, and it is not only Arabic. They have to know how they can get some new ideas of this interpretation, and then you give this. It is the same content. You give this kind of Islam who the people understand and who can accept, not as a foreign culture. It is something, an alternative for their life too. And because of that, we have to go for the challenges, and we have to have very good people who are educated in this Islam, and also know the German society and the normal, the German thinking of these people very, very good. So they can combine this Islam with this local culture, local thinking.
Interesting, yeah. Because it's also, I think it's the good approach, because we also in Indonesia have had the similar things, and it was successful that we also adopt, I mean, not to change the substance of Islam, we adopt the practice so that it's acceptable for the local culture. So that's why we, or the Indonesians, succeed to spread Islam. So now we have the largest population of Muslim in the world.
Yes, it's nearly the same, but you have done it like several hundred years before. We are at the beginning. It is important to know what is the core values in Islam.
Yes.
So
agreed.
the problem is, or what we see is that, for example, the Turks bring their culture and they say this is Islam, and the people say, okay, this doesn't fit here to us. You're Islam. For example, just one practice we have in Karlsruhe, a mosque who wants to build a mosque. It is only a praying room now. They want to build a mosque. The first thing what they think is they have to have 4 minarets, but these minarets should be exactly the same style and architecture as in Turkey. But here is not Turkey. Okay, you are Turks, but you are in Germany. So there, of course, the people say, we don't like this kind of architecture, mosque here, because they think they are bringing, want to live as Turks, separated from the German, and this doesn't fit. So we say, okay, mosque is good and it is needed for us, but it doesn't have to have the architecture as in Turkey. Even in Turkey, they have different architecture, modern architecture, for example, would fit better to Germany as in Turkey.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's an interesting discussion. Maybe there will be, in the next session, there will be some expert from Indonesia who can explain about the history of how Islam was widely accepted in Indonesia. Yeah. The next will be, could you maybe give us some examples what values or what practice of German or Islamic value which is quite suitable or synchronized with the German values?
Of course, we have a lot. When we see, we have discipline.
Yeah.
So we learn discipline as Muslims through salat.
Yeah.
We have prayers at certain times, for example, or we have some regulations in Islam that you have to do this regularly or punctually, or you have to look that is good done and so on. And this is, of course, one of these very important values of the Germans. Discipline, for example, also that they are very tidy, organized. When we read the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, you are really astonished how he organized Medina. He made some counting of population. He made more wells, and he put lights in Medina in this time, in the 8th century. And when we transform this kind of organizing, or how he organized, planned his hijrah from Mecca to Medina, it's very astonishing. In this tribal society, in this backward society, in this society where you live in the Arabian Peninsula in the 8th century, and when we can transform this idea, how he planned and he organized in this time, and we transform it in Germany, we have to be the most organized people. But we see we are very behind these normal Germans. And this is also a challenge, that the Germans have very well organized institution, and our institutions are not so organized. If we go, for example, to the bathrooms of the mosques, it is very dirty. Yes. One German brother said, when we have the cleanest toilets and bathrooms in our mosque, we have done it. We have the same standard as the Germans.
Yeah, I also experienced that. So I think it's a thing that we have to think as a Muslim, not only in Germany but also overall in the world.
Yes, of course, it is global.
Global.
You have competition in the global, all over the world. So, of course, if some Muslims in different countries have a good example, they take it, for example, in documentations and can show it in Germany. But nowadays it is like this, that they take the most bad examples from the Muslim countries and show it on TV, for example.
Thanks you. We have already talked about this daily life and the challenge of daily life of the Muslims, and yeah, now is the challenge also that the majority of the population is in Germany is not Muslim, yeah, and also the system of the country is not Islamic system. That means they don't really accommodate the Islamic law, and for these situations, what do you think is the responsibilities of Muslim in Germany to cope with these systems?
I don't think that we have to separate Muslims, non-Muslims. Why that? If one alim in Turkey said, if I see the Europeans, they behave like Muslims, and if I look to the Muslim world, they behave like non-Muslims. So, of course, they are not Muslims. I don't make them Muslims. This is clear. But the values that they have good values, which will fit to the values that we have. And if we talk to them and make dialogue about the values, we fight together. For example, we have a project with the Catholic theologian. We go to the classes, to the students, and we talk about this, that he is Christian and I'm Muslim, but we have the same values in some areas. For example, he says love, and I say rahmah, for example. Yeah. And this is not so far away from each other. Or if you say justice, this is very important in Islam. And the point that we have a constitution in Germany that allows us as Muslims to practice our deen, this is very, very, very good for us, because we can say, this is my this is my law gives me this opportunity to live Islam. Of course, this constitution was not made in thinking about Muslims, but this is also valid for Muslims. And so we have to, in some areas, we have to go on and take our rights to practice this kind of Islamic way, what we think, because the constitution allows us. And this is a very good fundament to live Islam here, and to come together with the people who have nearly the same values, or we have values that we can share, what they don't have, or what is not so important for them.
Yeah. Yes, I think this is very important. That with non-Muslim, we have also common values that we can somehow take it as the start point to work together and to coexist. Yeah.
Of course, and this is not also a new idea.
Yeah.
We see that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has uncle. He was non-Muslim till when he died. He was non-Muslim, but he gave his nephew the opportunity to live Islam and to propagate Islam.
Yes.
And this is also here allowed. the constitution gives us the opportunity to propagate Islam.
Yeah.
Except when you call for when you take the power of this government. This is also of course problem, but not in Germany. It's everywhere. But if you are in the constitution and you have to you want to live peacefully, normally this is not the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go to the topics of the community, the DMK. So the DMK is like the implementation of this idea or your idea, and you are now the president and you're also the founder of DMK. What was actually the goals that you found DMK, and also what kind of activities are there to reach the goals?
First of all, the DMK, the German-speaking Muslim circle, was found after Islamic Week.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Islamic Week in 1989 here in Karlsruhe, and it was a Dawah week, informing about Islam, inviting the people to Islam or coming together to speak about Islam. And after that, one of those organizers, he's a German Muslim, told us, when from now on, there is one German man or woman coming to you and want to know about Islam, where do you want to send him? And we know, and I know exactly, there's no mosque. Mm-hmm. They don't speak German. Mm-hmm. They can't explain Islam in German to Germans. Mm-hmm. So we see, okay, we have to find a group of people who make dawah, mm-hmm. and our Muslim community rooted here in Karlsruhe as a local community, and give education to the people who come to this community, of course converts, but also children who are the third generation who are born here or grown up here. And this is the program. We have two main pillars. One main pillar is to educate them in Islam, tajweed, to take ijazah, to learn Arabic, to learn the Islamic sciences and seerah and so on. This is one. And the second is to communicate with this community here in the town. This means with Christians, with Jews, with Hindus, with Buddhists, with atheists, everywhere, with the political parties, with these courts and judges everywhere. So we have, for example, we are in main activities against racism here in Karlsruhe, and so on and so forth. We are active in the society, we are part of the society, and we say we are Muslims, and this is normal that we cooperate with you for a better society, for a better town community. This is, as I said, the two main pillars: to educate in Islam, to be a Muslim community, and to be effective and make dawah and give good activities to the people who are in the town who are non-Muslims.
Yeah, so that means it should be also in balance, that we also learn Islam, but also to learn how to interact with people and make da'wah effective.
Of course, yes. And if they don't want to hear about Islam, it is okay for us, because we don't force people. We want to be also some models of good behavior.
Yeah.
And when they say we have a good project and they are atheists, we we come together because it's a good project for all people, not only for the atheists or Muslims or something, some other people. We are nearly in all activities who are beneficial for this society in a whole.
Mm-hmm. And what would be your your nasiha for a Muslim who's now students, professionals, and so on, which cannot, which don't have much time to learn Islam, for example?
I'm not in the position to give nasiha to the people, but in my opinion or experiences, they should be somehow in a community, contact the Muslim community. Mm-hmm. Of course, I prefer that they should have good contact with this German-speaking Muslims, because they are active in the community, in this society. But if you don't have so much time, or these people have so much time, there are some occasions who come together, and you can give them something, and you can get something. At least, I think, when they are married and they have children, these children can go to this community and have a stronger tie, or can be more active, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And now, there's not so many Indonesian Muslim in Germany.
That's a pity. Yes, yes. We like to have more Indonesian sisters and brothers.
Yeah. And actually, what do you know about the typical or the characteristic of Indonesian Muslims in general, and how do you know this, or how do you have this opinion?
I have had very good relation with brothers of Indonesian origin. Of course, with you and Agus, and so we had so good relations. What you said, they are very few, and what we see as German Muslims is their behavior is very calm. They are very humble, and they are very people who come together, and we can talk with them, and they have a good behavior. This is very important for us, because these people who are grown up here, also this second, third generation, are influenced of their character with these non-Muslims. They are not bad, but something is missing also. I can tell you an example. I was in the USA, and as a guest, and it was the second generation who saw me first, and I was so hungry. They didn't ask me if I want to eat something. They were very friendly, but so the Muslim of the first generation come, and the first thing he said, "Are you hungry, brother?" So we are missing something, the generations, and these people who are coming from certain countries in Indonesia, of course, they bring for us some values which we maybe in time we lose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, true. So, yeah, although it's not so many Indonesian Muslim in Germany, but Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world.
Yes.
What do you think the role that can Indonesian Muslim take to somehow to help their brother and sister in Germany or in other worlds, or inspire them to work on Islam?
Yes. First of all, we have, of course, all over the world an influence of this Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabian interpretation of Islam. This is, for me, not the ideal interpretation. Of course, the interpretation, you have a very long tradition of Islamic interpretation and living. So this would be also good for us, new perspectives. Of course, there's one main difference. You are majority and we are minority.
Yeah.
This is very important. But instead of that, in this area of behavior, character, adapt, and this we can learn a lot, and it will be for us very gainful to have more contact with brothers and sisters from Indonesia, from this area. And I would like that Indonesian students here are more and closer to the people who are German-speaking Muslims, and they mainly are together with them, of course, of cultural, but this exchange should be more, and we could gain more from them.
Yeah, sometimes Indonesian people is too humble and too shy.
Yes.
To be together with other.
So we grab them and bring them to our community.
And yeah, of course, this is actually also the goals of this series of webinar, to exchange experience. And in the future also there will be some webinar that someone from Indonesia will talk about the history of Indonesian Islam and also the practical daily living.
This would be also interesting and useful for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and then we can, before we open the question answer session, so maybe Kiai Ma'ruf could give some statements or introduction about NU and the work of NU, just a couple of words maybe. Monggo Kiai Ma'ruf.
In bahasa is okay, Prof. Hendra?
Oke, Mas Wahyu, tapi ini ya, sedikit-sedikit, jadi nanti diterjemahkan oleh Mas Wahyu.
Okay. Saya coba menerjemahkan. I will try to translate as best as I could.
Monggo. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih. Pertama, perkenalkan para guru besar, profesor, para doktor, sahabat-sahabat saya di LPTNU dan UNUSA. Saya dahulu tahun 2000 pernah belajar bahasa Inggris, tetapi lama tidak dipakai, hanya pasif. Tetapi sebagian dari Mr. Wustun, saya dapat memahami bagaimana Islam di Jerman, kemudian dari luar Jerman, kemudian beberapa hal yang perkembangannya sedikit memahami, cuma sekali lagi mohon maaf untuk verbal, untuk mengucapkannya memang terkadang masih butuh kawan, butuh latihan. Terima kasih Prof, terima kasih juga Mister. Jadi begini, Nabi kita, Nabi Muhammad SAW, beliau memiliki cara dakwah yang banyak. Nabi tidak hanya menerapkan dengan cara perang, tidak, tetapi ada beberapa metode dakwah yang bahkan Nabi kita oleh Allah dijelaskan di dalam surat Ali Imran, Fabima rahmatin minallahi lintalahu. Muhammad, kamu dapat berlemah lembut itu dikarenakan kasih sayang dari Allah.
Mungkin Mas Wahyu, mohon maaf ini, biar sedikit nih.
So first of all, thank you for the opportunity. And I will go immediately to the content. So, Kiai Ma'ruf Hossein has mentioned in the Surah Al-Imran, as recited, that so Muhammad Rasulullah SAW, our Prophet, have lots of methods in spreading Islam, but in this specific surah, Allah says that Muhammad, you can be in cordial communication and courtesy, and this is the aspect of the surah. Oke, silakan lanjut.
Walau kunta faddan ghalidhal qalbi lam faddu min hawlik. Muhammad, andaikan engkau keras, andaikan engkau kaku, maka orang-orang akan menyingkir dari sekelilingmu. Jadi di dalam ayat ini Rasulullah memang dalam berdakwah, dalam menyebarkan Islam, Nabi menggunakan pendekatan kesabaran, pendekatan tidak kaku, tidak keras, tidak menakut-nakuti. Maka dengan cara Islam seperti itulah, alhamdulillah sekarang umat Islam sudah miliaran jumlahnya. Bahkan di negeri kami cara dakwah semacam ini sangat diterima, bahkan yang dulunya minus Islamnya sekarang alhamdulillah menjadi mayoritas Islam di dunia.
Okay, so to continue the surah, so you need to be in cordial communication and courtesy, because if you are hard on them, and then they will go away or they will avoid you. So this is the method that has been applied in our context, in our situation. It has proven to be successful, because now in Indonesia, from minority now has become majority because of this peaceful approach.
Jadi terima kasih. Kemudian belakangan setelah kejadian sekitar tahun 2000, kemudian muncul ada istilah Islam radikal. Muncul orang yang mengesankan bahwa ajaran Islam itu membunuh, suka perang, dan seterusnya. Maka propaganda ini, propaganda yang memberi sentimen kepada pandangan Islam, NU dari Indonesia membangun sebuah paradigma baru, bahwa Islam ini di Indonesia tidak dengan cara perang, Islam di Indonesia tidak dengan cara membunuh, Islam dengan cara santun, dengan cara baik. Terminologi ini kemudian oleh para ulama kami diistilahkan dengan nama Islam Nusantara dalam terminologi. Bukan berarti Islam yang menyimpang dari ajaran, bukan, tetapi hanya sebuah yang kita sebut dengan kontra intelijen, kontra narasi, bahwa Islam ini adalah damai, tentram, tidak menyakiti orang, tidak membunuh, dan seterusnya.
Yeah. So from about the year of 2000, there has been growing ideas in Indonesia of radicalism, where they are spreading and until now. And so, in response to that situation, ideas of radicalism, where they think that Islam are ruthless, or the idea of killing others or doing bad things in the name of the religion. So in response to this growing idea of radicalism, Nahdlatul Ulama, or developing came up with the terminology that Islam are peaceful, that Islam are spread in courtesy, in cordiality, in peaceful way, and this terminology is named Islam Nusantara.
Terima kasih.
Yeah. So maybe we have to add a little bit that Nusantara meaning is a region of the southeast of Asian archipelago, where mainly are Indonesia, but also Malaysia, Singapore, and the others. culture around it.
Yeah, add on something that means this terminology Islam Nusantara is not like new Islam or new religion or something, but it's like terminology so that we can just come back to the methods, to the practice of the Prophet Muhammad, and also the practice of the scholars when Islam spread to Indonesia. So the peaceful Islam and so on. Yeah. Okay. Another
Kemudian
sudah.
sedikit tambahan, Prof.
Ya,
Okay.
monggo ya.
Sedikit tambahan, kemudian setelah dalam perkembangannya ternyata kita jumpai negeri-negeri mayoritas Muslim di Timur Tengah mengalami peperangan. Maka orang yang sedang berkonflik perang tentu Islamnya tidak dapat berkembang dalam kemajuan teknologi, dalam kemajuan saintifik, dalam kemajuan peradaban. Maka ada seorang ulama dari Qatar, dari Timur Tengah, beliau katakan ke salah satu konjen duta besar kami, ini mengatakan, Inna nahdlatul Islam sata'ti min Indonesia, la minal Arab. Bahwa kebangkitan Islam, peradaban Islam di masa datang itu akan muncul dari negeri Indonesia, bukan dari negeri Arab. Sebab di sebuah negara yang perang ini tentu Islamnya tidak dapat membangun sebuah peradaban. Maka negara-negara yang seperti di Indonesia, kemudian Malaysia, dan juga Asia yang lain, yang insya Allah kemudian akan memunculkan peradaban yang akan datang dengan ilmu, dengan kesantunan, dengan akhlak, dan lain sebagainya.
Yeah. So, knowing that in some area or in the Arabic world are in conflict, then due to that situation of conflict, it will be impossible for the development of Islamic ideas or Islamic civilization, or the development of let's say human development because of the conflict, because of the war. So that's why, because in the area of the region of Nusantara in Indonesia, where the people are in peaceful life and living in Islam, then that's why one of the clerics in Qatar says to Indonesian ambassadorial mission that it will be in the future the Islamic civilization will wake up, or will be developed from Nusantara, from region of Indonesia or Malaysia, because in this region the Muslims are living in peace. So there are no real conflict, there are no wars. So development will be allowed to happen. So that's why it is hopeful that in the future in Nusantara will be central for the future of Islam civilization.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nur.
Okay. Yes, we can open the question session now.
Okay.
Is there any question? Yeah.
Yes, for me, I have a question. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I have a question. In German, I think day by day, there Muslim will be growing, I think, in my opinion, since there are a lot of immigrant from Islamic country, and also the influence of the Muslim tradition there can influence to another people that living in a very stressed day because they don't have any then they don't have a method to release the stress. So in Muslim, I think they can, even they are in the bad condition, they always thanks God because they know how to thankful. That's why maybe it can influence people in the Germany that living in the hard life, something like that. What do you think about that? This is true or not? In my opinion about that. And this one, the first question. The second question, is there in German, is there also some two ways of Islam? It is a radical Islam and like Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah Islam there. So that not hard and hard, radical and not radical. Is there also happen in the German? That's my two questions. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, it depends how we go on. If we say the number of Muslims are growing, it is not automatically that they grow. If you say immigration, there's some estimation about studies. Maybe in 20 years, it is 8–9% of this population is Muslims. But there's also a strong political party coming, the right-wing party, the populist party. They don't want to have Muslims here in Germany. They say we close the borders and we don't like to have Muslims. And they also make pressure to Muslims here in Germany. First of all, this is a very, it is a political party, but it is strong in society. There are studies about 60% of the German population has fears about Islam and Muslims. So if we want to grow, or the numbers of the Muslims should be more, we have to do a good da'wah. And now in this constellation, the Muslims are doing nothing of da'wah. Most of the Muslims, they are with themselves in their communities, in their mosques. They are cultural organizations, but not da'wah organizations. The pity is the only da'wah organization in Germany who is very strong is the Salafi movement. This, of course, people are also, some of them are radical and some of them going to violence. And this is why the German Muslims and the Muslims in Germany has created a vacuum of da'wah. So they didn't do da'wah, and the Salafi came and in German, and with strong actions, they spread the da'wah, and they understand in a Salafi way. Now they are now they are weak because they get pressure of the state, but there's no real good organization, da'wah organization in all over Germany who makes da'wah. It depends of this how we behave and how we organize, and this constitution institutions that we have, if they change in terms of da'wah or not. The second question was?
The second question, it was about, I forgot, sorry.
Is there also exist radical Islam, or and also like here in Indonesia, not radical Islam, for example, like Muhammadiyah and Nahdlatul Ulama is not so radical. So we tolerate other religion, we tolerate other ethnic, we tolerate other tradition. So we not say that their fault, their religion are fault, something like
Yes.
that.
It depends what you call radical, but there are some numbers in Germany, about 6 million Muslims, and you can maybe say that there are 10,000, only 10,000 active Salafi. But their influence is very big. Of course, we have problems with terrorism also here. And these politics in Germany are looking to the Muslims mostly about this, are they radical, are they extremists, are they doing some violence? And 99% of the Muslims has nothing to do with radicalism, extremism, and violence. But this image of the Muslims here in Germany is through this eyes of radicalism.
Prof. Hendro, ada pertanyaan dari komen YouTube, saya kirim di grup Global NU Connection.
Skip the dragon from YouTube.
Okay.
Comment.
I will say here, Mr. Rustu, according to you, what approach that may be most compatible today to expand Islam education for German people? I mean, like in Indonesia, we have Wali Songo that expanded Islam with blending culture, like changing party gathering with tahlil. Or maybe with inserting wayang to marriage party with Islamic story and so on.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So one big group of German Muslims are coming to the Sufis because they have a mystical and they very light approach to them. They don't give them some, you have to do this or that. They only gather together, dancing and festivals and so on. And this is also an approach. I think we are not in this stage, I think, but it is very, very important to have some Muslim culture and some in this area to present, because in Germany cultural activities are very, very important. You can we have, for example, Dawah weeks, Islamic weeks. It's interesting. You have some talks. You have some people who talk about some important society topics. But the most non-Muslims come to our cooking seminar. When we cook about different Muslim, the non-Muslims are interested in these cooking seminars, not about talks or some politics also. And this is very important. What we are thinking about in future when we are stronger here in Karlsruhe, we like to open a coffee shop, to drink mocha and have some music, so they can talk with Muslims, meet with Muslims, and they get acquainted with them. And later on, of course, they are interested in Islam. This is very important. Yes.
I think it's interesting because I think people mostly interested in something light, something easy.
Yes, they are
simple.
Also the Germans, the modern man, the modern human being is not interested in religion, but they are interested in culture, in Oriental culture, in different culture, in eating, in every kind of culture. And this is also an important approach, yes. What, for example, if we have some days of open door, we call it. We have one brother who makes Arabic calligraphy, and we write the name of these people. For example, Thomas will write in Arabic calligraphy, and we give them. They are very happy. They are very happy. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe from Kay, do you have any question?
Maybe may I ask a question? Yeah. So, so although it was not very deep, but Kay Maruf Kozin mentioned about Islam Nusantara as methods and conceptions that were developed and introduced by Nahdlatul Ulama in, although I think now, as far as I understood, are still in development in the construction of the methods in terms of the how to say, in the maybe scientific manner. So my question is for the German Muslims, are there also attempt to do some constructions or methodological development of German Islam, let's say it like that, that is still within the corridor of, for example, in our belief is Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah, methodological constructions, but the idea that sprung from these methods will be well fitted to the, for example, German culture, German values and ideology and system of life. Is there this kind of are made? Thank you.
Yes, this is also an interesting question, because it depends how we can develop Islamic solutions for our questions here or for our life. We see that this traditional, so-called traditional answers in our books were credited in Turkey, for example, or in some traditional Arabic countries. When we just translate in German and have the same answers, it doesn't fit. So, of course, in the Muslim world, there are some ulama trying to give new methods. For example, I think it is interesting this method going to maqasid. This method, what are the maqasid of this Sharia, for example, Shatibi, you know, and this is one method. Also, we have different new ideas, but we have to have our own people here who are educated in Islam and has some education, for example, in Muslim countries, so that they can understand what is produced in the Muslim countries through the Muslim ulama, that they can adopt for us. This is the first step. We have enough people, enough young people who understand what is going on and can take this produced methods, books and ideas, and we can discuss it here also. What we have is here either the traditional from these countries, or we have this Salafi movement. It is very strong, and we have also a movement, and this is for us some problems. The liberal Muslims, they only say we are Muslims, but we adopt nearly everything what the society has, non-Muslim society. And this is a very big problem, because we have to give the young people solutions, but we don't have this right method, or we don't have the people who can make research, for example, in this matter.
So if I would like to continue a little bit, do you think it will be beneficial if there can, for example, a continuous dialogue? Because let's say this Islam Nusantara is something that also like regional developed, although of course it's been a process from hundreds of years. But maybe from this experience, do you think that can be a benefit for future if a continuous dialogue between Indonesian Muslim and German Muslims are happening? Do you think it can grow into something that are more real in the as a methodological construction or the maqasid that you mentioned, that how do we be benefited? Although of course the details then will not be the same, but some spirits or what I understood, some qaida, some rules, maybe can be useful. Yeah.
I think because we have so much influence about Salafi and, for example, the Turkish Islam. And it is
Prof. Hendro, excuse me. Saya mau pamit dulu, Prof. Masih melanjutkan. Tapi terima kasih untuk Mr. Un. Terima kasih. Ya. Semoga may Allah memberkati. Semoga Allah memberi keberkahan bagi umat Islam yang ada di Jerman. Amin Allahumma amin. Mohon maaf, saya pamit dulu.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much.
Mau ada kajian di UNER. Beliau mau memberikan ceramah di UNER.
Oke.
Ya, kein Problem. Ya, kein Problem. Ya, amin. Yes, this exchange is very important. It is like exchange in the scientific world. When you have new things or new ideas or you have some experience, you have to change it because you can take use of this experience and new ideas. And what we have here is too much influence of the Salafis here, too much influence of the Turkish Islam, for example, here. And these people here are, of course, not so much educated, most Muslims. So they, of course, in Turkey, you have also very intellectual people, but they don't get it from these people. They are very traditional, taking this, and this is not a solution. Just copying this what is now in Turkey or in some Muslim areas. But this exchange and thinking about this experience would bring us further.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a call.
Prof. Wahyu. It's okay with your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Ada any other questions?
Wait, I will open the comment. I think one question.
No, die zwei Links.
Okay.
No, in comment no more question. In YouTube comment no more question.
Also die schauen über YouTube dann.
Die andere die schreibt schriftlich Kommentar. Oke, ada Mas Wahyu,
Mr. Hussein, maybe your question. Mr. Hussein? No, not.
Maybe busy
Sichtbar.
in listening mode.
Karena di mute ini Pak Hussein, di mute, kita matikan dulu di mute-nya. Mute-nya saya matikan dulu. Mute-nya Pak Hussein ini bisa dimatikan nggak nih? Gimana matikan mute-nya Pak Hussein? Mengaktifkan?
Kalau mau menonaktifkan mute-nya nggak bisa. Kalau mau mute bisa. Tapi mungkin beliau juga sedang ini, mungkin sedang off.
Okay, in a comment no more question. And so I think in group global NU maybe wait I'll check it global NU. No more, no question also. No question also in global NU.
Oke. Kalau gitu selesai. Kita akhiri.
Ya.
Yes, I think there's no more questions. So
Thank you very much.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And it was very interesting for us, also, of course, for you and for Indonesian people. We got also insight about Islam in Germany and how your struggle and how your work on dawah and your idea, which is very similar to our idea. So I hope in the future we could work together
Inshallah.
and help each other.
Inshallah.
So that's why this program, Global Information, is for that.
Mhm.
Any closing statement, Pak Ustaz? And
Yeah. For the close statement, I'm really thank you to Mr. Usrum.
Rushdu is Rushdi.
Rushdi in Arabic.
In Arabic, Rushdi.
I say thank you very much because
Thank you.
you can give us the description of Muslim there, because we don't have here, we don't know what's happened there, and with that we can use it and experience to tell, to hear that it's happened in Germany, the Muslim, the condition Muslim there. And also, this is our first lecturer from foreigner, you. And I hope this is not finished from this. Next time, I hope there are a lot of another speaker, and also not only for German, maybe from Muslim in another country. So it is very helpful. Yes, this is very useful, bermanfaat to us. How to say bermanfaat? It's very
Beneficial.
Yeah, beneficial to us. Yes, especially for NU organization here that have a lot of experienced people around the world, so they can tell their experience to us. So we are to develop our organization here. So that's all from me. Thank you very much again, representative, the head of the LPTNU, Professor Jasidi. I would like also thank you, because
Thank you very much.
he is very happy with this activity. Especially Professor Jasidi and Professor No are very happy with the young generation continue the to share their knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Muhammad is done. Muhammad is nicht zu spät. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Very good. So, Mas Wahyu, closing statement. Mungkin from Mas Oding.
Ya, monggo Mas Oding.
Mas Oding, ada statement. Ada pertanyaan, Mas Oding?
Waalaikumsalam.
Wie geht's dir, Rustu?
Alhamdulillah. Schon lange nicht mehr gesehen.
Also, ich bin zu spät. Weil gibt's so ein bisschen Ding zu tun hier beim Campus KIT. Also, wahrscheinlich, hoffentlich, das ist ja eine gute Diskussion haben wir hier. Aber sondern hab ich keine Bemerkungen bisher, weil nur in die letzten 3 Minuten oder so bin ich online. Aber ja, ich bin sehr, sehr glücklich, dass du bist hier. Dann können wir dann lernen auch, wie ein Muslim leben in Deutschland. Das ist sehr, sehr glücklich. Vielen Dank, Rustu.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Ja. Okay.
Mas Wahyu, closing statement.
Okay, yeah. So it's really nice. It's really good. So I'm really happy that this discussion happened, and I really hope that it can continue, and either in the discussion or also in the organizational cooperation, because from the Nahdlatul Ulama community in Germany, we also have or we will try to be hand in hand in spreading the values that really, let's say, reflect what we discussed today. So hopefully that it can really happen in the future, and then it will give many benefits for all of us as a community here who lives together in Germany, in Europe. So yeah, so thank you again, and yeah, this will be a good start, and inshallah. Many barakah for all of us. Thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
Closing statement from you.
Yes, it was a new experiment also with the webinar for me, but I hope that I have a strong German accent when I speak English. I hope you understood my English, and it was, inshallah, interesting also for you what we do in Germany and what the Dawah is headed. And I hope that we meet again, not only in internet. Maybe I come to you to Indonesia and visit you, inshallah.
Yeah, you already went to Indonesia in 2016, yeah.
Yes.
And I think would be not his last time.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And from my side, thank you very much for you, brother, for your time, and it was very interesting. And in the beginning of May, Professor Yazidi, who's director of University of Nahdlatul Ulama, and also Professor Nuh, which is his former minister of Indonesia, education of Indonesia, and then also very active as one of the leader of Nahdlatul Ulama in Indonesia. He will visit us. I hope we can meet on the 1st of May.
Really good. Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, for me, thank you very much. For others also, for Pak Istas, for
thank you. Yes, thank you.
Wahyu, inshallah. And I hope it's not the last time. So I'm looking forward for the next webinar, which I also hope that the team of NU from Indonesia will also can give some insights about Islam Nusantara and also Islam history of Indonesia. Inshallah. Okay. Thank you. Then let's meet for the next webinar in 1 month. And akhir kalam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.